See that? 4-0. I need a motion to enter into the White Mountain Lakes County Recreation Improvement District.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This time we're in the White Mountain Lakes County Recreation District. Mr. Mark Homburger. What's
Good.
your report?
Yeah, good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Supervisors. It's a pleasure to be able to bring you a quarterly report today. We do have a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you. Excellent. All right. So first thing we want to start off with here is a look back at the past holidays we've had, the Memorial Day and 4th of July. Memorial Day weekend, we saw on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we saw 148, 150, 113 visitors respectively. On 4th of July weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we saw 105, 176, 211, and 169 visitors respectively. The point here was that everyone had a safe and fun weekends. There were no incidents to speak of. Of concern to us is whether or not our parking lot's going to fill up or not. But at no time do we have a need to have any street parking for either of these weekends. So what we attribute that to is that last year we were the only thing open with COVID. So all the other lakes were closed, all the other facilities were closed. So people came to White Mountain Lakes who had access. So people had more options this year, and so our facilities handled the visitors quite well. Let's see, and next, I wanted to highlight that we have, did I point in a certain direction? There we go. Okay. Hopefully I didn't do something there. All right. So we have a meeting with Publix on a regular basis. So we have our next one scheduled for August 19th. And it's over at the Silver Creek Golf Club. And you all are definitely invited and welcome. We'd love to see you there at 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 19th. We are, of course, putting a message out through all of our means, Facebook accounts, multiple accounts, community Facebook accounts, emails, of course, directly to everybody who have an email for, so that we all be aware of the public meeting coming up in August. All right, so activities at the lake. We recently had a bass club tournament that was last Sunday on July 11th. There were 16 teams that were involved. The largest bass was 5.3 pounds. It was actually, that's kind of small for compared to past tournaments. They're a catch and release kind of tournament, so no fish is taken out of the lake. The other thing, the Bass Club itself is a regional group. It's not us having a tournament. So the regional group, they do a different tournament each month in a different lake. And so in July, they came to our lake, and they also provide for us a service of our fish habitats. So they are able to, they built them and put them in the lake. We have about a dozen or so. Every year or so, they add more to them. They always go and check them when they're out, and they repair what's needed to be repaired. They also give us good information of what fish are in the lake. It's hard to know quantities, hard to know kind and species. So they give us good information because they're seeing all the fish that are out there, and they're all over the lake at the same time. So they give us great information. So it's a pleasure to have the Bass Club out there, and they typically come on a Sunday morning. They'll be back in September for their this is their championship weekend, right? They collect points over the season, and then their championship is a 2-day tournament, and the second day of the tournament will be here as well. So if you ever want to see a bunch of bass boats in action, come on out on September 19th. Also under this category, we're working with a fitness instructor to provide a fitness class, a beach boot camp, if you will. Imagine a fitness class on the beach in the sand. Sand's hard to walk in anyway. But the idea is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's going to be early. So early morning on the beach fitness. We already have a bunch of people interested in the class. Mondays would be like lower body, Wednesdays upper body, Fridays full body. So you can pick and choose which days you want to come. So we're looking to get that started here in early August. The reg form has been developed and liability waiver text has all been approved, and so we're ready to move forward with this, begin marketing the class as well. So we're excited about that, to be able to bring forward a recreation class. As we look to do more recreational opportunities for folks, we don't have a lot of facilities. We don't have indoor facilities. We don't even have a patch of grass. So what we have is the beach. We have a basketball court. We have the lake, and those are the amenities. So something like this is a great combination of you able to use the beach during a time when it's not occupied by other folks typically. So no one's going to be impacted. Typically at 6 a.m. The beach is pretty wide open. So it's a nice combination there as well. We need to mention the water level update. As you know, back in the end of June, you approved an item that kind of clarified what the proration would be if the water level drops below. And currently we are below our 0 mark. The 0 mark represents the level we're supposed to stay above. We're about 1.5 feet below that right now. So we're all watching that. Everyone's concerned about the lake level, because as the water goes down, the recreation amenities go down. The ability to recreate on the lake goes down. So, but we are the highest lake in the area. So folks that have access to our lake are telling us, they can't put a boat in very easily at places like Scott and Fools Hollow, because they're shrinking much faster than we are. So thank you to the Silver Creek Irrigation District for their work in keeping the level even as where it is now. Even though it's below our 0 mark, we're glad that it's not all the way down, right? So we're very thankful to them as well. What else? Oh, the parking lot lines is interesting. We had a need to replace the rope lines that were getting aged, and they're starting to tear and break, sun use and weather. And of course, but the rope lines are expensive to replace. And so we come up with another solution utilizing a paint application, not aerosol, because that just sprays the dirt, but a liquid application to get the lines. But really what I wanted to share with you guys is that we were able to remeasure the lines and get appropriate parking distances. Some of them are quite large. And we actually were able to gain about 4 additional car spaces and about 1 additional boat trailer space, the longer ones as well. So that was a nice addition, right? We'll have additional parking for the times when we need it. And that, of course, was out of our work plan as well. Next up is our Wetmore. Really, it's called a remote anchor. The idea here is that the boat that's anchored does not have access to the dock, right? So they have to take a kayak or a canoe or swim out to their boat. We had somebody who was interested in trying this out, and he owns a sailboat. So it's lovely to have a sailboat anchored out there in the water. Our concern, of course, was that we wanted to be not impacting the ability of skiers and jet skis to move around the lake, especially as it's getting smaller. So we were able to find a location at the edge of the no wake zone where the sailboat can just kind of be anchored in. It's been working well. And so it's kind of a test idea. I wouldn't expect anybody else to try this out. I don't think I have a second space for any additional boats, but we also have nobody else interested. So this is something that was approached to us, and we were able to put it into action and get the rental fees again for an additional slip. All right, let's try food and drink vendors. So the idea is that we're looking to bring in concessionaires. We've been in discussion with several vendors. We actually had one ready to go for the 4th of July. A coffee shop out of Sholo was going to bring and do smoothies and do panini sandwiches and ices, and they had their new trailer they were getting put together, but they weren't able to get their health permit accomplished in time. The time frame for that was longer than they realized, because it's a brand new trailer. So as soon as they get that accomplished, they will be looking. We're still interested in having them out, and they're still interested in coming out. So in the meantime, we are working with other vendors to have a conversation. Are they willing to come out and spend a weekend selling at the lake? That'd be a nice amenity for people at the lake, especially as we head towards our final holiday, Labor Day weekend as well. That's when we expect to see the next crush of people. The next one has to do with kayaks and paddle boards. Again, we now have our liability waiver language approved, and so we're now working on security, storage. What's the process going to look like? Right, we currently own 2 kayaks. We need to get a couple more, probably the double kayaks, and then maybe some paddle boards as well. Those seem to be in demand. So we definitely have demand for these kinds of amenities. People come to the lake and they don't have a boat, and they would love to be able to rent one from us and go use the lake. So that'd be a nice amenity plus additional revenue source. Let's see. That's also out of the work plan number 13. Dock repairs. So we're working on fixing the float. We have several floats that are failing. So we're looking to buy 4 new floats to fill in. They fill in that space. That quote was due a couple days ago. I've been working with them to get that to me so we can make that purchase. And then the new floats will be installed once received. So we'll be have that dock back in good shape. It's a double wide dock, so it's not in danger of sinking, but there's a slight dip on the one side. So that's got to get fixed ASAP. Let's see. Staff t-shirts. So before I leave, we were able to get a consistent look for visitors that can easily recognize who to go to. Here's an example of the t-shirt style. I'm wearing a polo version of it today. But it really does is it creates a nice professional look, and also people know exactly who to go to. Prior to this, we've had a vest that kind of said staff on it. Those get a little bit cumbersome, and some of the staff are not as comfortable wearing those as well, but everyone's enjoying wearing the t-shirt, and folks we had a good response to that as well. And before I close out, we have a communication piece, a newsletter. Our first newsletter is done, and so before I finish this item, I wanted to pass these out to And so in the newsletter are some of the things I just highlighted as well. So there's not going to be any new news for you to read, but I do want you to see the hard copy. This has been made available digitally. It's on our website. It's on the Facebook pages that we are involved with. And so it's also posted at the local places around town, like any community bulletin boards that we can find. The post office is such one of those, and also at Juniper Ridge as well. Any place that has a community bulletin board, including our own, it's been posted as well. So it's a nice way to communicate with folks and let them know what's up and archive the things that are being accomplished out there. So with that, that concludes my item. Open up for any questions.
Mark, just for people who may be watching or listening here, give us who can use the lake. Is it strictly to members who live in that area, or share with us the usability?
Absolutely. Yeah, the lake is formed as a taxation district. So the properties that are involved inside our boundaries pay a tax, property tax fees that the county collects and then passes back to us. And so we have a small budget with which to work with, but people who pay those property taxes, those property owners and their guests have access to the lake. And then what I just kind of summed up there is at the bottom of that newsletter on the front page is described as far as how that works. So that information we're constantly trying to make available for folks. We get that question every day.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments, questions, Jason?
So you talked about getting some of those docks fixed. I know you're trying to get bids on it. How many docks do you currently have? How many are being fixed?
What's getting fixed is the floats that are underneath some of the docks that have been failing, and we believe they failed due to beavers chewing on them. Evidently, there's something in that plastic, the peanut oil, that is, from what I've been told, that's causing holes, and of course, then that lets the water in, which doesn't work well for floating. And so once that's approved, and not approved, once you get the replaced, then we'll be able to talk about rearranging some docks, taking some fingers off of the daily dock and make it a straight dock, and putting those on the end of the boat slip rental dock. So it's a rearrangement of what we currently have. We'll probably have to buy some brackets for that as well. But then the floats need to get fixed first, and then we'll move into the next stage.
To oversimplify, just because it's not my world, I'm not a dock person and go out there and do, but I know that that's been one of the complaints that folks have had out that way. What are we looking at as far as, are we talking about the docks will all be fully functional this season?
Absolutely. The biggest issue that's making them not functional now is the floats. The act of rearranging things will allow us to have additional boat slip rentals. It doesn't take away any dock pieces, because we have enough pieces off fingers that we can take and move to become the new boat slips. And so that will be a new amenity. We'll be able to add off of our wait list to the slip rentals. We have people waiting for opportunities to rent a boat slip. So getting the everything's functional now. Fixing the floats will be bring it up to where there's no dip in the dock.
Okay, so that'll be taken care of. You have confidence then you will have bids and an executable opportunity to move forward.
Yeah, I already had the bid. I'm just waiting on them giving me the shipping costs to go with it, and we'll be making that purchase.
Okay, good. So I'll move forward. And what kind of a timeline are we looking at for completion?
What is it now? Give us, once we have them once they arrive, give us a couple of weeks to get it installed. So really it's about, it's coming out of somewhere in the Midwest.
And when you say who's installing?
Myself and the staff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys have the ability to go install. Okay.
It's an erector set, bolts and nuts.
Okay. I've not done it before, so I don't have any familiarity with it, but
For sure.
as far as the citizens out there, how is the season? What's the temperature there and how it's going? And is that continuing to improve? How's the communication? I know that's something, obviously you got the newsletter here. Thank you. I know that's something that was requested,
Right.
that the communication get out to the public where they have the opportunity to be able to interact and engage with you, because as a board, we have a chance to hear from you here, or if they reach out to us, but the goal is of course for them to be able to talk with you and be able to try and get what's going on and what we need to do there. So how is that working right now?
I will say it's fine. The people that are coming to the lake are glad to see the lake. They're happy it's there. They're glad the water level is up. They're excited to be able to use the lake and the beach. We do have our detractors who are, they haven't been as vocal of late. I suspect we'll see them at the public meeting as well. But hopefully we'll have some things to show them that have been accomplished by that date. So things like the floats are expected to be up and in, and able to be said, hey, this is something we have been able to get done. That depends on the shipping time for the floats. But as far as people in the public, they react well to the different Facebook posts and those kind of things. They had a reaction to the fact that we prorated the last item from the end of June, where we prorated what the fee would cost when it goes below zero. And so there were some reactions to that, some misinformation. We were able to correct that as well. And from then on, there was the complaints were stopped about that particular item. So usually putting the information out there helps a ton to hear it described when it comes from us.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you doing that. I'm sure well intended by the newspaper when they put their article out there. There was a lot of misinformation in that was not accurate. As they tried to capture it, looked like the idea that was a brand new contract and that these things were already in place. The contract already exists. The irrigation district clearly has had the ability for years to be able to trigger and be able to access the water that's there. That wasn't new, but just defining what those costs would be and that wasn't clear in the contract. So, but the article, I'm sure, again, did as good as it could based on the information that was had there. Hopefully they'll reach out to the county in the future or to yourself.
They did not reach out.
But I'm sure it caused you some heartburn there because it lacked accurate information.
It did.
So, yeah. All right. Thank you. That's all the questions I have, Chairman.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments, questions? I just want to thank Jason. He worked hard with Walt Blackman to try to get some things changed here from the state legislature for the water district. This last year, we were not successful in getting that to move forward, but it was an effort that was made to break this away from the county so that they could be their own governing board and deal directly with the state versus the county. So, but I will look at that another day. So
For sure.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do. Next item here is county business update. I look to our county manager, county attorney, and board members for an update.